achieved.
What up, everybody? Welcome to Studio Day Heffrey. After the Cowboys lose. So, yeah, everybody's really upset. Unfortunately, I did go with the prediction of Cowboys lose in the very final segment on Friday. I tried to sneak it in so people wouldn't get mad at me. But it played out. There was no way to predict how Dak was going to play. That was the biggest problem. There was no way to predict because we just don't know. When you can't throw throughout the week, obviously your shoulder has a problem. The NFL is really good on Sundays at numbing those sorts of things up, and then how do you play? We'll see. Well, Dak didn't play well enough, and that part's easy to establish. But what I want to focus on today is Amari Cooper because the Cowboys are in a weird spot right now. They're in a weird spot where a lot of the core of this team is already locked in. And everybody's just waiting patiently for the rest of the core of this team to get locked in. So you're 7-8 with the core of this team, and two of them don't make huge money yet, but they're about to. Are we 100% sure that Amari Cooper needs his $18 million a year? And are we 100% sure that Dak Prescott needs his $35 million a year? Can you take this 7-8 core and say, yep, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and this line. That's what we're building around. Because the scary part is if the answer is no, you're waiting for the terrifying R word in football, rebuild. So that's why nobody's going to walk away from a good quarterback. And I'm a Dak believer. Dak's a good quarterback. He's a good NFL quarterback. Top 10-ish, right in there. So you're not going to let him go. But the Amari Cooper thing's interesting, isn't it? Watching him this week, how he plays less snaps than two other receivers. Randall Cobb and Michael Gallup both played more snaps than him. How you're not in on 4th and 8 to determine the season, basically. They still got a chance, and I really think the Eagles could lose to the Giants, so you might still make the playoffs. But we got to talk about Amari Cooper. When everything's not going great, it's hard to definitively try to, define a guy based on body language, but when he's just standing there sitting on the sideline, I'm like, what is going on? If he's hurt, he's hurt. But they're not doing him any favors, and he's not doing himself any favors by saying, no, I'm fine, I'm healthy. Because if you're fine and you're healthy and there's other receivers playing more snaps than you, we got problems. And is that what you want to lock into? Or was Oakland onto something with the things that we hear out of Oakland, which I don't want to say the guy doesn't love football. You don't get that good at football. You don't get that good at the details of football if you don't really enjoy playing the game. So I think that Amari Cooper, I don't question his effort level. I don't question how much he loves football. But there's something in the personality if it's not injury. I think he's hurt, but if it's not injury, we got to talk about it. We're just going to lock up everybody from a 7-8 team and assume that it's going to get better going forward when your depth gets depleted because you can't afford to keep the mid-level guys? Yeesh. And now I want to go to Dak. I have one problem with Dak, and maybe a change in leadership will fix it. I hate how this team is not accountable or doesn't feel empowered enough that the captains on this team don't make decisions. Jalen Smith, when there's 10 guys on the field, he didn't call a timeout, and he said, I wouldn't do that again. Yeah, I'd do exactly what I did. This isn't in the past game, but... And then Jason Garrett comes on, and he's like, well, we'll have to talk about that. Because obviously, you're a captain of the team. You can call a timeout. And Dak, if it's 4th and 8 for the season, you're allowed to make that decision. You're allowed to call a timeout and walk to the sideline, and Garrett's going to be like, we wanted all 3 timeouts to try to get the ball back, right? But the odds of us converting, if we convert this, the odds of us winning this game, we got a real shot. If we don't convert this, then those timeouts aren't going to matter. We're going to have a very small chance because we're going to have no time and no timeouts to go to try to win the game. So the difference of 1 timeout versus how important it is to convert this down on 4th and 8, I'm calling a timeout. Do you know why? Picture this in your mind right now. Take a really good quarterback who has a number 1 receiver on his team. If Aaron Rodgers' season is on the line and Devontae Adams isn't on the field on 4th and 8 and he's healthy, he's calling a timeout. If Michael Thomas isn't on the field and it's 4th and 8 and Drew Brees' season is on the line, he's calling a timeout. Because we're getting our guy on the field. It's going to happen. If Tom Brady's out there and Julian Edelman's not on the field and it's 4th and 8 and the season's on the line, Tom Brady's calling a timeout to get Julian Edelman on the field. So we can blame everybody. Garrett blamed Kellen Moore because he wanted 12 personnel and Sanjay Lal for the receiver rotation. That's fine, but you're the head coach. You can also take ownership of this and say, hey, are we sure we don't want our number one receiver who saved the season last year to get in there? It's bizarre, and to me, Dak's got to take some ownership on that. Cooper's got to take some ownership on that, and Jason Garrett's got to take some ownership on that, unless what you're telling me is we were totally comfortable with him not being in there because we targeted him 12 times and he had 4 catches and we felt like somebody else gave us a better shot to convert. And if that's the way you felt, well, we got a whole new conversation we got to have about Amari Cooper. So keep it locked in today, everybody. I love you. Welcome to the party. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Who gets the most blame for this Philly loss in the comments today? Let me know who gets the most blame. And enjoy it, because they still might make the freaking playoffs on accident. Check 1053thefan.com every day. Subscribe to the page, and I love you.